All right, how is everyone doing today? So, what I'm going to do is something a little bit different than I usually do is I'm going to have a look on the internet. I've been browsing a little bit and I found a couple of forums. This one's called Paint Talk, and the topic was women painters. So I was kind of curious to see what the opinion was of the consensus here. I was actually quite surprised to see that majority was pretty positive. And so this first one, this is the discussion starter. So this is what started the discussion. And this company, Repaint Florida, they said, first, let me say my lead painter is a woman. Not only has she worked for me for 9+ years, she is the reason Repaint Florida has grown, been successful, and has built my company into a company known for quality service. My crews average 70% women, 30% men. Just to let you know, we're a full service paint company, interior, exterior, residential, and commercial. The girls hang off 12-story swing stage, spray, roll, brush, and at the same time keep a professional image. So let's see what everybody has to say about this topic. Stretch67 said, I currently have one. She works fine. Generally, not many applying for our type of painting, that's for sure. Need to be able to lift 85 pounds minimum all day long, all day strong. Well, I mean, not necessarily. That just, in my opinion, that depends on what type of work you're doing. So Stretch says, the main thing I wonder about is the heavy lifting. There is a lot of heavy lifting, definitely. Can all of your employees carry a 5er in each hand for 100 yards without stopping? Not saying that is a requirement. That's what heavy equipment is for. But I have found that even for the guys who cannot do it, so obviously guys can't even do it. So I don't understand why that would be brought up as a, to determine if a woman can do it or not, if men can't do it. But anyway, it ends up causing more delays. Over the years, we have had to stock entire hotels by hand. Okay, so these guys, they're painting like big, commercial buildings where they probably have to go all the way up the stairs. Yeah, here, carrying them up the stairs, 5 gallons in each hand, whether it's 5 stories or 20 stories, not fun. Okay, let me tell you this. You're not going to find many people who are going to do this, let alone a woman. Most men won't even do this. If you can't figure out a better way to get all of your supplies up, let's see, what did he say? 5 stories, 5-story building, other than your men carrying it all up. I mean, where's the elevator? So that one I'm not sure about, but then Repaint Florida replied, delegating is the key. I have a yard guy to set painters up on bigger jobs. See, now this is good. When you have a painting company and you can have one person that does the office side of it with the estimates and the paperwork and the job, the paperwork for the job completions and all that stuff, and then have a separate person who delegates, like Repaint Florida just said, the work, which really can be good. But having a business partner, I'm not too sure about that. I've seen that go south like way too many times. So, So Perfect Paint says, if the work is done in a professional way with full cooperation, then it shouldn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I agree with that. And so let's see here. Let's see. This is a good point right here. D.A. Arc. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. He says that, or they say, that whether it's a man or a woman, each individual has strengths and weaknesses. The role of a owner is to put his or her employees in the right position to maximize talents. Now, this is a key right here. Never put anybody where they don't like it and they can't handle it, right? So if you're a business owner and you want to maximize profits in the shortest amount of time without rushing everybody around and rushing the job, you got to learn where to put people. I'm not going to go on to a job and put my weakest people, somebody who's weak in one area but phenomenal in another area. Why would I put that person in an area where they cannot excel? So that's a key right there, is making sure that because whether you're a man or a woman, I've seen men on jobs that are smaller than me, and I'm a small woman. And and men are built stronger, just naturally. But that doesn't necessarily mean that a woman can or can't do the job. You just have to put that person where they're going to be best. So I agree with that. George Z says, we hire women. The majority of our painters are women now, including 3 job managers, crew leaders. I don't see any limitations. They do the difficult jobs too, the lifts and the heights. So getting a lot of positive feedback here. And CA Painter says, I say if a woman can become an Army Ranger, they can certainly handle painting. And frankly, I'd find it pretty darn difficult to tote 2 5s of paint 100 yards without stopping. See? So this obviously is a man here, and even he's saying that he would find it quite difficult to carry 2 5s of paint 100. Now, let me tell you something about carrying 5s of paint, 5-gallon buckets of paint. It's actually easier if you do have one in each hand. Try carrying a 5-gallon bucket full of paint with just one with one arm. It's not easy, but if you balance out your load and you grab another 5 with the other arm, it's actually easier. Doesn't seem like it would be, but it is. CA Painter says, especially if they were inorganic zinc. Okay, I may have missed the joke on that, but I'm sure I would make it. Okay, inorganic zinc. Okay, I think that must mean the type of paint. But at my age, the last thing I want to do is work for a company that requires that. See, that's what I was saying. Most men aren't even gonna to work a job like that, where you're making your guys carry 5 gallons of paint up 5 stories up a 5-story building. There's got to be a better way. Usually there's a contractor elevator that they delegate, or that they designate for contractors. And you should have a cart. Get a cart, put the paint on a cart, push it into the elevator, take it to where you need to go, and then unload it. That would be smarter, not harder. Save your body. So let's go on to this other thing that I found, and this was from Build Review, and it's just talking about women in the painting industry. And I noticed here where it says that women are still vastly unrepresented in the construction sector, and that not only are women disproportionately underrepresented in painting and decorating, but many report experiencing discrimination. 72%, in fact. Now, I don't know, this is buildreview.com, so not sure where they got the numbers, but let's roll with it. So they say 72% of women in the painting industry claim that they're getting discriminated against. And in fact, if that fact wasn't stark enough, they say, just 16% report having access to female toilets when working on construction sites. Oh my gosh. Okay, now this is a huge thing right here. not having a toilet. So if you're a woman and you're a painter, first of all, if you don't own your own painting company and you are working as an hourly or salary for a painting company as a skilled tradesman, you are going to encounter this all the time. I started learning how to paint back in 2002. So it was really, wild, wild west back then, but it still is now. There was never a bathroom, and that's why I always like doing interior work, because at least I know I have a bathroom. Because especially if you're working outside and it's hot and you're in the weather and you're drinking a lot of water and then you have to go to the bathroom. Um, a lot of the guys, this is terrible, but a lot of the guys will just pee in the bushes. I can't even tell you how many times I've been working on a house or sent to work on a house with a bunch of random other guys when I was working for other contractors before I had Pineal Painting. And it seemed like there'd always be one spot on the side of the house that smelled like pee. And you just know that all the guys are going pee there. It's like so terrible and disrespectful to the homeowner and to their house to do that, but they do that. And I can honestly say, I can tell you one story. This is how disgusting the men can be on these construction sites. If there's not a toilet, they will literally poop in buckets. They will poop wherever they can. They will take a bucket, they will put it in a closet, and they will poop in it. And one time, I was working with this guy named Bobby, and we got sent to this house after the other painters were there, and got sent there to finish up a few things, and we were looking for the paint that we needed, and we had to open up the buckets to see what was going on. And Bobby opened up a 5-gallon bucket, and the first thing I saw was brown in the bottom and flies flying out of it. And he shut the lid because I go, oh my gosh. And he shut the lid and I go, okay, somebody pooped in the bucket. He's like, no. I go, yes, they pooped in the bucket. And he lifts the lid back open and looks in there. And sure enough, one of the other guys that worked for the company that was working there at the house with no bathroom pooped in the 5-gallon bucket, then put the lid back on it and then shoved it over, or somehow it got pushed over into with all the rest of the good paint. And so you're not going to know it's in there until you open up the paint bucket. So yeah, there's a lot of really disgusting things that happen on when you're working in the paint industry or just construction in general. And I found this on this other Reddit. It's called Reddit, and this is another forum where they were discussing women in the painting industry. And this it's called Our Blue Collar Woman. She says, "Woman's porta-john." You know that feeling when there's a really nice women's porta-john on the site and you drink coffee and water without a care or concern, not trying to plan your beverage consumption around breaks off site where you can use a usable bathroom? I've got that feeling right now. So apparently she was on a job where they had a woman's porta-john. And she was quite happy about that, to know that she had a restroom to use. So it can get pretty gross. This person, your pal Jax, says, "This is so real. My shop is thankfully mostly women and queer folks. And when we were renovating our bathroom and rented a porta potty, there was never a fear of, oh no, how bad is it going to be? It was always clean and usable." That's another thing. This porta potty issue is really gross too. the guys literally sit in the porta potty for so long that they draw doodles on the inside of the porta potty walls, and it's usually something extremely perverted and disgusting. Another thing that you have to watch out for as a woman working on these construction sites and using a porta potty is that the guys will poke holes in the sides of the porta potty walls, and then they will look in there and spy on you while you're going to the bathroom. So watch out for that, ladies. uh, this person, Aunt Gail's fanny pack, says, I'm dying laughing at how well written this is. Because this person right here has been through it before. They're like, this is hilarious. So, Waste Carpenter 8035 says, where'd it go? Right here. I always advocate for a locked porta-john that we give the women on site the code to. So this is another thing that's pretty interesting. I've never encountered this before, but apparently the women's porta-johns are locked so that the men can't get in there and destroy them. And I think that is a really good idea. Let's see here. Lady Ladama says, ugh. I used to work at a company with a men's stall style restroom and a single person woman's room until they changed it to all gender so they could all poop in there. I'd have to wait outside trying not to pee myself while they're warming the seat and leaving crayon marks. I was pissed. It felt like a personal attack. There was one more down here that I really wanted to show. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. There was one that was really funny. No. I can't. I might be on the other one, but anyway. So, another thing that tends to happen is there's a lot of safety issues. It's a dangerous job, and you can get hurt. So just a woman's not going to get hurt any quicker than a man would, but you could fall off a ladder. This Uber is stilling it. Okay, I know I butchered that one. Says, most painters I know die of cirrhosis of the liver before their bodies give out on them. Maybe that's just Florida. That's another thing is most painters are drunks and they drink a lot. So seems like the drug of choice for painters is alcohol for some reason. And this person here, Adam the Grape, says, nah, that's everywhere, man. Hardly any sober painters. I'm one, but I had to quit drinking. I always say the only trade we can look down upon is drywallers, mostly the boarders. This person, Menulum, says, you are definitely destroying your body for money. That's pretty much the whole deal with trades. Just be sensible. Wear protective equipment when you can. Everybody's got to die sometime. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty good with the protective equipment because I just don't want to inhale all the poisonous fumes, and I try to be as healthy as I possibly can, even though I work in a trade that's really not conducive to your health. I mean, it's really, painting is probably any of the skilled trades are just really bad for you. Whether you work with concrete or even with wood, any chemicals you work with, it's going to take a toll on you after a while. Definitely wear a respirator if you're spraying outside. So there was one here. This guy says his shoulders are messed up really bad. He says all of the overhead work with no stretching, he regrets it. And his hands and wrists are fine, but he cuts the way he holds the brush apparently it's helped him out. And so I mean, let me tell you this story. I worked with a guy named Alex, and this guy, he would show up to work with Crocs on, no belt, pants falling down. He'd have to use every day he showed up, he'd grab a roll of blue painter's tape, which is like $8 for one roll of tape. Of course, he didn't pay for it, so he didn't care. He'd use the painter's tape and wrap it around his waist to hold his pants up, and then he'd use it to tape his Crocs on or whatever. And he was never prepared for work. He'd be hanging off the extension ladder 25 feet in the air, 20 feet in the air with Crocs on, spraying. And it's just the type of things. And then, it's like, I can't really feel too bad for you when you slip and fall off that ladder when you show up with Crocs on. So not really sure what people are thinking. So let's see here. This person was deleted. And says, I've owned a painting company for 10 years. Obviously, wear a mask when you spray, but one of the most dangerous things is sanding large amounts of spackle and Bondo and spot putty. That's definitely something that I need to get better at, especially in the summertime when I'm sanding a lot, like especially the Bondo. If it's really, really hot out and it's like 100 degrees out, I won't wear a respirator. But I need to get better at that. So that's something there to work on. And so this guy, this goes back to what I was just saying, the story about the guy with the Crocs on and no belt. And this guy, the wild lifer, says, I find my biggest safety issues with painting is that I view it to be my least dangerous task. Thus, I get sloppy. Ladders and tripping hazards. I also accidentally wore my home slippers to work for one day, so I figured it would be safer to be on a ladder in my socks. Immediately dropped a scraper blade and almost took my toe off. So there's that. I mean, this is, if you can imagine, this actually goes on construction sites. This guy, Illustrious Radio 55, says, holy shit. Slippers, I can relate though, actually. If it was an interior job, I can see myself doing the same thing. I did it the other day because I went to work with the wrong shoes. Some new Adidas I wasn't trying to destroy. I painted with only socks and I was on a ladder a very short ladder, but still. Okay. I mean, one time back in the day when I was first learning how to paint, I would wear my slippers around in the morning, my sandals, and like the last thing I would do when I leave for work was put my shoes on. And one day I actually did this where I did forget to take my slippers off and put my shoes on. And I got halfway to work and I realized I didn't even have my shoes on. But I didn't go to work and paint with with sandals on. I turned around, went back home, and put my shoes on. So I don't know. I just don't know what some people are thinking. But when you get stuck on job sites, this is the type of thing that you're going to have to deal with. And they're talking about injection. So basically, when you're spraying, you have to be really careful because the sprayer holds a lot of there's a lot of pressure, and you can get what they call injection. So you don't want, if you spray your own self with the sprayer, you can inject the poisonous paint right into your blood system, and you can actually die from that. So yeah, painting is a pretty dangerous thing. Not a lot of people think about a lot of the dangers in it, but it's, I would say overall, it's definitely a great job to have if you like freedom and you don't like being stuck in a, you know, in an office per se, or if you're like a hands-on type of person. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple funny things that I found just to wrap this video up right here. And I do have a couple other topics that I want to bring up and talk about in this same format, but I'm not going to do it in this one. I'm going to get those together and I'll make another video that I saw. So look at this guy. He's painting cabinets in someone's house. Look, he's going in a circle with the sprayer. This guy obviously has no experience with a sprayer. This is what cracks me up about cabinet painting. And they literally paint the cabinets without even taking the doors off. Do they not realize that that paint is going through every crack and inside? I really hope that the people don't have their... I really hope that people don't have their dishes in there, because that is a total disaster. Look what this guy did. He literally put the cabinet door and threw it down in the grass. And for a minute, I thought he was just gonna prep the door down there, which I thought isn't as bad. But then as the video progresses, he gets the sprayer out and he's teaching people how to spray cabinets, doors in the grass. And look at his angle that he's on. He's definitely, and he's in sandals, of course, so this must be Florida. Everything's always in Florida. But yeah, this is horrible. Look what he does. And so basically, then he proceeds to say that he's going to go ahead. Look at this. Oh my gosh. And then he proceeds to say that he's going to leave it there and let it dry before he sprays another coat. So I wish in his video he would have showed how he pried that door out of the grass and all of the grass that was stuck. He probably would have to sand. If all that grass and dirt got stuck to the sides of the door or flung. Plus, when you're spraying, it's pressure that's blowing. So it's going to blow any sand, dirt, anything up onto the door. And so that's not going to be a good finish. This is not going to... Oh my gosh. This is hilarious what people do. Oh my gosh. So, let's see if I have another one here. Finish it up. Let's see. Paint job gone wrong. Look at this. Another one. Another person is... Look, and the cabinet door just blew open and he just pushes it shut. Look, see what happens when you're spraying and the pressure moves things around and there's stuff in the cabinet. Look at this guy. There's no rhyme or reason to the way he's spraying it. He's completely out of control. Look at this. And instead of covering the floor, look, he just has a drop cloth down and this looks like wood planking floor. That drop cloth is not going to stop the paint from going all over the floor. Wow. Look at this. It's tile. It looks like tile. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is not the way you paint cabinets. So I just thought this was really funny. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And so I'm going to get out of here for now. But I've got a couple other videos I'm going to put out in this format regarding probably talking a little bit more about women in the painting trade and other aspects that people probably wouldn't think about if you're thinking about going into a trade like this, or a skilled trade, especially painting. So have a good day, you guys, and thanks for watching.